Oh, hello there. Good evening. Welcome to a bit of an experimental stream. I've never done this before, and I thought I might as well give it a go. And why not? Why not stream while I'm doing it? And that is, I'm going to be modifying a piece of artwork from high school. In fact, high school, which we can see here, and it's actually a painting that I've had now since, obviously since high school, but since my GCSEs, I think. And it's a painting that I've always had a bit of, some slight problems with. Not least up. Where's my pen gone? There it is. Not least up in this sort of area here, where it's there we go. It's very blurry because what happened was I was painting over the pen, basically, the pen work, and it ended up just sort of slightly disappearing below the below the paint. So it got sort of washed out and watered away. I'm not really sure if I can fix that today, but it's a good excuse to use my XP-PEN tablet and see, try and get a bit more used to using this digital art tool. And yeah, I've already set it up with a new layer, so I'm not actually drawing on the art file itself. This is a photograph of the original. It was painted on cardstock. Again, as I say, back in high school, and it's an explorer. You can see the explorer there with a ridiculously oversized torch, methinks, exploring this ancient Egypt-inspired space filled with sand, general lumps and bumps of ruins down here. I might try and fix some of that stuff as well. And being followed by, I think, what I imagine to be sort of zombie-like pursuers. You can see that they're not really, they're sort of slightly shambling, aren't they? And again, I'm not sure that they were perfect either. This was very much a concept piece for that GCSE project. So back when, 15, 16, is that GCSE? It's been so long ago. Yeah, I thought, why not? I've got this photo, why not have a play with it? So I'm going to start with the bit that's been bothering me the most, really, since I opened this file, and that's this stuff here. And I'm not really sure. I think I probably want to actually just make it seem as though it's more in shadow, probably just exaggerate that shadow a little bit and see what comes of that. So I'm gonna sample. I don't know, man. Let's see. Sample that sort of color. Should we try just? Yeah. We might need to be a bit more general than this, actually. Yeah, no, I'm not happy with that. See, this is basically why I need the practice. So yeah, I like the shaft of light coming down on this idol thing, and I like the implication that the light is somewhat lighting the area. But the thing is, the whole thing is very well lit, considering your man has a torch at the front, or needs a torch to explore. So maybe what I need actually is to just sort of bring all of this slightly down with a bit of a I don't know, do I dare go for just a full-on spray? Maybe that's the answer. I don't know, we can always undo it. Let's go really big there. And I want to go sort of earthy, I think. So let's see. But quite dark. So maybe there. And quite big as well. I got it quite big. Let's see what happens. Oh wow! Even though that's big, that's not big. Wow. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to turn down the opacity on this when I'm done. I'm just sort of trying to see if some of these colours might work. Let's have a look. Oh. Don't tell me that's... Yeah, that is on the thing. There we go, that's better. Okay, that's interesting, but I think I shall undo that and go in with something darker. So let's try... Actually, let's try sampling this. This is basically a shade, the established shadow tone for that room, I guess. So let's see. Where's my sampler? There. Okay. Should we go for there? Let's see. No, actually, I haven't fully undone all that work I did before. All right. Go for a big. Make that huge. And let's see. If we sort of bring... There we go. And maybe even just extend that shadow a bit back there. Because again, I can bring it all back up with the opacity as a fix. And again, this is the ceiling of the chamber. It should be really dark up there. There we go. That's... This is why I couldn't be an art teacher. I'd be pointing this out. I'd be like, have you even thought about where your light is? I would shatter their my students' confidence far too easily, far too quickly. No, I wouldn't. I'd be much better. I'm only this harsh with myself, really. Okay, so let's see if we go to that layer. Can we... Come on, man. Oh, that's the opacity on the brush. Sorry. Layer opacity. Right. Okay, so that's without. That's all the way back. Yeah, I reckon that's already looking a bit better, actually. Nice. Now what to do about this guy? Because if I can just start getting these guys right, then I'll probably feel a bit better about them. Go for that layer, sample the back. So I want to get that sort of that shadow color sample, and we want to go back down to being quite small with the... There we go. Oh, is that the right? Let's get rid of the overlay for a second. Oh, okay. Sample that color there. There we go. Let's go all the way down. It's a bit too hard, that brush, actually. I wonder if that might help. Okay. Make it a bit bigger. Touch too big. Although I'm drawing actually on the layer, aren't I? I need to make a new layer. You pillock. There we go. Still a bit too big. So we've got the back of the neck. That makes sense. Then maybe over here, going to get a little bit of shadow. And then it's going to be... Again, I wasn't the best anatomist if I was a teenager, so... What do you want for nothing? Back of the arm. Okay. And I guess there would be some sort of shadow here, although that's a very thin arm. So I guess he needs a bit more of a, yeah. Let's say here. There we go. And then some shadow under here. Makes sense. And then zoom out. Let's put our shadow back in over there. It's interesting. I'm definitely having to do a lot of learning about it. It's interesting. I do love this tablet, but it feels simultaneously intuitive, but also surprising in terms of how sensitive it can be. Yeah, smudge that up a bit. Now I guess the shoulder's going to have a bit of a highlight on it, so we're going to have to sample, I guess, around about there and come back in. Yeah, smudge all that together. It's already better than it was. Now, if we're going to have a highlight on the shoulder, we need a highlight on the old bicep. And is that... So I'm not quite sure what that line there... Is that meant to be his bite? Really? I guess it must be. That's a ridiculous bicep. I guess we're going to have to do something. Yeah, maybe smudge away a bit of that on the original. Just to sort of have it make a bit more sense. Yeah. Okay. Oh, hello, Charles Babbage's Ghost. Would have been Twitch is messing with you. Yeah, Twitch can sometimes be a bit fiddly, can't it? Right, so let's see. I mean, it's better. It's better than it was. And that's all we're aiming for today, folks. It's an experiment with this software and making it just a little bit better than it was. So I'm going to give... Oh, no, that's a smudge. Don't use the smudge. I'm going to give that slightly sharper. Yeah, that'll do. Although what I probably want to do... No, actually. Good evening, Charminar. I thought you were playing Stardew Valley. Zoom out from there. Right. And maybe, I mean, because the thing is, I can't redraw. I don't want to redraw this painting in that sense. I just wanted to see if I can just make it a bit closer to, I guess, how I was imagining it might be when I drew it all those years ago. Oh, no, that's zoom. Is that from scratch? That's a page later to save my hard work before... Ah, fair enough. No, this is a painting that is... Hello, Davis, 1965, from high school. So it's an original... I think it was thinned down... I don't know, it looks like water-based paint, actually, not acrylic. Because if you look, so for example, over here, I definitely was putting colour over pen lines. And that smudged that and slightly wrecked that, which is probably worthwhile fixing. And then over here, you can see the pen lines were lost beneath that water paint, a water-based paint over here. So I'm just having a bit of a fiddle, really, with it's a photo of that artwork, that high school artwork, GCSE, I think. So, you know, 15, 16-year-old, and or being a 15, 16-year-old at the time. And yeah, so already what I've done is I've sort of brought down the back of the chamber to make it much darker, because it's just all too light back there. So I've added a bit of a layer of shadow, which also makes more sense of his flames here, doesn't it? Of the torch that our hero was carrying. And we'll come back to that at some point as the stream progresses, I guess. But what I need to do now is to make sure that's the right layer. Yeah. Is to just sort of bring this guy's face down a little bit. Because it's just a little bit too yellow, too bright. But again, I don't know if that's going too far for the... What I probably need to do actually is pick a mid-tone, a mid-yellow. Let's get rid of that. So that's our darkest parts. So that's going to be under the chin. Although... There we go. And then maybe up to about there. That kind of thing. With a wee bit of a smudge. There we go. And then under the eyes. No, definitely wasn't based on a particular tomb. I was doing a lot of reading of around the topic of ancient Egyptian artwork at the time, and it was, it was a exciting topic, but I wasn't, at that point as a teenager, I wasn't particularly interested in, I suppose, accuracy. Wasn't really the thing I was most excited about. It was more the look of the thing. Which is fine. It's fine. There we go. Again, a wee smudge. Because everything's so blurry. And what I'm hoping is, as I get better and better with this tool, I'll be able to actually do fully original artwork with this thing and just stream it, which would be fantastic, or capture it for other purposes. So really, in some ways, doing this as a project is actually the perfect little intro. Yeah, that's all right, isn't it? That's all right. That'll do. Oh, he looks a bit. Was it girthy? Not girthy. Is it girthing? The old ladies without their teeth in. There we go. That wasn't quite right. There we go. The thing I really like about this thing is that you can get really great lightness of touch that that means you can get different thicknesses just by based on how hard you're pressing on the tablet. And that's what I find. The thing I find most interesting discovering this tablet, which was very kindly gifted to me, was that first of all they're not very expensive, so about £35. I had no idea. But also a good one will have that really great pressure sensitivity. So if we were to quickly make a new layer here, and let's see, get rid of that. I could sort of start really thin and then do oh no, hang on. There's nothing to draw on. Oh my goodness. Because I've made them all invisible. There you go. Is that better? Yeah. Make it much bigger as well. So start thin and then add pressure, and you get wonderful, very sort of organic curves, which I can't wait to deploy. I'm really looking forward to just coming on here and just drawing something. But I feel as though I need to get to know the thing a bit better before I can do that. So hence, just sitting down and doing this evening. Now then, there we go. So I think that's a bit better. I think the lighting on him makes more sense now. He's catching the light coming from the beam rather than just being completely lit up at the back there. Couldn't use slate style tablets, so I haven't done digital yet. Well, yeah, and it's... I think what I'm finding interesting about it is that one of my... I used to have very little fear. You know, when I was doing art all the time, I was consistently just diving in. You know, I wouldn't be remotely scared of the blank page. And then, you know, if it goes a little while, and so I'm on the layer that goes a little while, and you realise that you've sort of become a bit too aware of your potential mistakes, and before you know it, you're just not drawing at all because you don't want to ruin. So the number of notebooks I've got, sketch pads I've got, where I've started a page and I've just gone, oh, this is rubbish, almost as though I'm imagining that someone in the future is going to be judging my art, rather than just doing it and iterating and getting better. It's always been one of my frustrations. And actually, to be honest, even this evening, I very nearly didn't actually go live with this thing because I just thought I'll just do it quietly. No one needs to know. But that's the thing. I need to get better at just diving in. And if this doesn't go too well, because it's digital, I don't need to worry about it. I can just start again. Yeah, and maybe that's a little bit like, I'm not slight. I'm very much a perfectionist, and it's a little bit like with my my vocab recall for Welsh. I've lived in England now for longer than I ever lived in Wales, and one of the first things that went was vocabulary, because you're not using it all the time. And then you just become a bit shy about even trying to speak Welsh. And then it all just sort of falls out your head a little bit. It's all come back now. I've been doing Duolingo for years now, and it's definitely much better. But you've got to use it, use it or lose it. And how thick is this guy's neck? Oh no, okay, no. Okay, there's his neck. That's the wall behind him. Okay, let's yeah. Let's just go in there. Yeah. Is that not? Oh, I'm smudging. Let's undo the smudge. There we go. Yeah, and this year I would like to get back to doing doodles more often on Instagram for Scribblebeard. That sort of fell by the wayside last year. Oh, his chin, his whole face it's like he is wearing a mask. Again, I shouldn't be too harsh on myself. I was a teenager. I was learning. It's the whole point, isn't it, of going to school to learn. But actually, that's probably the one toxic trait that that Mrs. Soup and I make worse in each other is perfectionism. That thing of like, if you're not great at something immediately, then well, you're just not trying hard enough, are you? We try to be aware of it. We do. But it's not easy. Not easy. So it takes a certain amount of learning and self-awareness just to get to this point, where I've just gone, sod it, I'm just going to start the stream, go, All right, let's smudge that a little bit more. So hopefully everyone's doing well this evening. Practice your Welsh by watching these streamers. Oh, I've never actually thought about that. Actually, Welsh language streamers. Yeah. That's a very good point, actually. And then look at this arm and this. What was I thinking? It's ridiculous, is what it is. All right. Put a little bit of shadow in there. Need shadow under the arm there, I think, and under here. You can pronounce L correctly. Consider that an accomplishment. Well, fair enough. That is an accomplishment. The double L is yes, bruglau and that kind of thing. Yes. There are quite a few different Welsh words for rain. Understandably. There we go. But I think part of, a little bit like with the art stuff, I think part of it is knowing that you were once effortless at something means that you put pressure on yourself to be back there again immediately, you know. In that all sounds similar. Interesting. That's quite cool. Yeah, I do. That's one of the great things about I think about bilingualism. Actually, is you grow up with that sort of appreciation for where sounds are similar. Try getting. I can do now. So frustrating. Old. Try getting old. Oh well. I'm definitely start. I mean, that is so weird, isn't it? That guy's body. Don't judge. Just give him a touch up. It's all right. Touch up the weird body. There we go. So the yellow again is interesting how I chose some of those colours. So let's go for that guy. Let's sort of bring this down a little bit, shall we? Is that not? Oh, I'm sampling still. There we go. Yeah, and again across the sort of the clavicle and shoulders. We need a bit of highlight. There we go. One of the things that I want to do this year is to incorporate the use of this stylus into videos. It's going to be really cool to be able to write notations or sort of point at things or draw reconstructions of things in a video. I think that would, you know, up my game, as they say, a little bit. There we go. Put a little bit there. Bit on his hand, such as you can see it. Try to get that smudge to work well. Helps drawing stuff, I think, is difficult, and yeah, that's the thing. So for a little while, I had a Samsung S6 Lite, which had a really interesting pen actually, and at some point I might try and get hold of that as a portable digital again drawing device. And the problem was I kept on doing lots of mark making, and I was enjoying the mark making and playing with the layers and what you could do, but I never found myself knowing quite what I wanted to draw. And when it comes to the painting work that I do on Scribblebeard, often I'm inserting things into old rubbish paintings. So I kind of it's giving me that context and that kind of, you know, so the difficulty didn't even occur to me. It's more a case of, oh, this painting needs that, so I do it. But facing the blank digital page was always an odd one for me, because yeah, I'd find myself, okay, what can I draw? What should I draw? But yeah, drawing something original acrylic. This isn't. No, this is water, some sort of water-based color, I think. I don't think it's acrylic, just because of how it's behaved on the image. There we go. I think what we want is to have something like that going there, and then that comes down there. Sort of. Again, I wouldn't draw these like this now. anatomy is a bit weird. Right. There we go. But yes, I think what happened was I did a pen drawing initially, probably one of those high school red lidded pens. I think from Bic, the company, or might have been actually even from Biro themselves. And then I put some wet paint over the top of that, and that's what led to all this stuff here. And I was pointing to this a little bit earlier, this area here, which is just I wonder if I can do something about that while I'm here, actually. Let's see if we can sort of smudge it back into being a bit more disciplined. Maybe. Yeah, it's quite annoying that I did that, actually. And just to remind me, Charles, are you Lord Engine on the Discord? There we go. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate the fact that people are sharing, and yourself included, are sharing art on the Discord there. It's funny, I set up these things, and then it turns out I'm actually quite shy about, probably again because of that aforementioned perfectionism, sharing my everyday sketches and work. That's a bit better. A little bit better. Oh no, not at all. No, you're not being at all spammy. No, I like it. I love that people are using those sections as intended. Because initially I sort of set up things as and when I thought to post stuff. I thought, oh well, we need a section for this, we need a section for that. But with people's help, especially Nolan's help, I had a really good think about how the sections were applicable to everyone, not just me. So, for example, pets as opposed to indie or whatever. Pets and animals, a bit more broadly applicable. I think that's a bit better. And that's really all we're doing here, is we're just touching things up. So I'm not sure that we can do much about this guy. And also this guy here probably needs to be a little bit more blurry. He's a bit too sharp, isn't it, on the vestiges of divinity. There we go. Oh no, I am smudging the wrong layer. That's better. Feeling brave, you'll show lithic drawings. I did a few of them in uni, actually. I think they're in I have an old art folder upstairs. I think they're in there. I have a drawing of a bronze brooch that I did. That's just over, hanging on the wall over there, I think. Yes, just over there. If you really want to, I can bring it over. Let's go for pencil again. See if we can just bring some of this back. Because I seem to recall that I was quite proud of the sketch, and then it all sort of fell apart the moment I added the paint, and then I just sort of made do with it, really. So maybe I'm getting a little bit of justice for my teenage self here. again, I love the fact that I haven't really had to. Oh, there you go. Without thinking, as the brush gets quite fat, but just with gentle little marks, you can do some good mark making. I bought some scratch board if I get anything good out of it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got my in-laws got me some scratch art kits for Christmas, and I think in general, maybe that's got to be one of my go-tos this year. Has got to be just diving in and doing stuff, and not sort of, because I have a terrible habit of not. If someone gets me something crafty, I hold on to, like with the notebooks, I hold on to the crafty thing, thinking, oh well, one day it'll be the perfect rainy day, you know. Oh, this guy's got quite a chin, hasn't he? And that perfect rainy day never quite materializes, you know. But if you're just in the mood, maybe you should just dive in. There, that's a better chin. Slightly less chatty. There we go. Let's rub out a touch of the forehead there. Oh no! Hence digital art is good. Oh right, oh yes, of course I took a photo of them, didn't I? Yes. Got the cheaper practice boards and some real art ones. Nice. Well, again, in that one, it's all about the mark making, isn't it? The angle of attack of the tool, and how you sort of establish the rules of the what's positive, what's negative, and how you're playing with that in the mind of the viewer. Can be lots of fun. Right, okay. Let's sample this color again. Go for the back of the neck. And the thing is, this time, all the way back here, we can be quite generous with our shadows, methinks. Let's go all the way back down the arm. There we go. Smudge that up. Trying to decide if you're working with oils or pastels to the apply and blend method. I'm in that sense. I'm a bit of a lazy, or I have some bad habits when it comes to my painting. So I tend to work in acrylic. And I once had someone completely freak out on me when I was talking about the oil painting mods that I do using acrylic. They go, you should never paint on oil used with acrylic because it will peel off. But that's only if the oil is still drying and it's not been, basically the paintings I work on they're not, it's not a risk, it's not a problem. And I do keep an eye on it just in case. But yeah, I like acrylic, not least because it's affordable, but also there's that element of, I do like to apply and smudge. Often the effects, even in real life painting, are oh, interesting. Oh, I didn't realise that, Jominal. Okay. Yeah, often I'll sort of apply colour and then find myself thinking, actually, I think there's a certain amount of crossover with model painting, actually. So some of the habits that I developed painting models and props and things like that over the years have some of these rules where you can sort of apply intent almost through weathering, It's even illegal to take pebbles. Crikey. Well, the number of people who have broken the law then is stupendous. There we go. I think that's a bit better. Let's go for... So over the hand here, sort of trying to imply that hand is behind it. Behind this other arm. Okay, to take fossils, yeah. Oil wash is used on scratchboard all the time. Okay, interesting. And I think the access to oil paints thing is literally, for the most part, budgetary. You know, I just don't think I ever had access because of the age I was when I was doing lots of painting. I suppose I could always try and come back to it. Somewhat better. We get rid of the shadow and that layer. Yeah. Definitely an improvement. Just need to do this guy. If you don't know what you're doing, you can start fires. What? Intriguing. No, that's a bit too thick. Go for really gentle. There we go. With oil paints. Oh, I see. With off-gassing and that kind of thing, presumably. And also, I guess oil thinner or paint thinner will be a factor. Because often you have to thin your paints, don't you? Which is probably why they're for the most part not used in schools, actually. Oxidation heat. Right. And is that in the tube, or is that as it's drying on the actual canvas? Oxidizing on the canvas. There we go. Incidentally, this the music for this stream is just some lo-fi music that I've picked up from, let's see what it's called, channel called, where did you go? The Relaxed Movement. Apparently it's Twitch friendly. I just figured some background might be a good idea. You just have to hear me sort of breathing in the silence of the night all night. Then again, I imagine some people might be into that. I can imagine that being the case. Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, waste bins and stuff and the like. Right, this. I think what I'm going to do is just smudge in underneath this because it's just all looking a bit too thick, and sort of in your face. And then I'll go to that layer and just smooth those edges. There we go. That's what we want. Cool. Yeah, the public right to rack. I'm curious. What I might do is just also... Went too hard on the zoom. Just spread... Yeah, spread a bit of that shadow over here. It'll help if I actually on the shadow layer. Maybe make it a bit bigger. So we'll just darken down those legs a little bit. There we go. You know, I think that's already looking better. I like that. Oh no. Then he immediately ruins it. The tool was still too big. There we go. Okay, let's see if there's an equivalent over here that we can do, because again the shadows are very harsh on these guys. But I probably don't want to do too much. So what I could do is just try doing a little bit of blending. Oh, that's good. Yeah, and that's the other thing as well. It's this thing of, again, perfectionism. Not every drawing has to be a masterpiece. You know, you can just be drawing for the love of it. Might have to come back to those guys. So this, yeah, the fire, it's out of control. it's just way too much happening there. I've always thought that was the case. Even when I first drew it, when I first painted it, I just didn't know quite when to stop the fire. And I think the problem starts here. So I'm gonna use this layer, which I think is the empty layer. Let's just check. Oh. Oh, interesting. Right, okay. So that's the layer. Right, I'll be back in a second, guys. I need to get some water. Hang on. Okay. I am back now. Yeah, what I want to do is sample. Go to here and this area here, I think. And then from there, introduce it maybe with a bit of a brush. Airbrush. maybe make that a little bit bigger. There we go. Something like that. Again, try and do a minimal sort of touch on it. Oh, that's better. That's definitely better. And then I think the other one is this yellow bit here, which looks like it might be a similar colour to the background. So I'll just sort of go in. Oh no, that's smudging. No, not the smudging. There we go. There we go. Let's sample that colour coming from above, and then sample that colour and just come in a little bit from below. I think that is definitely less out of control. Yeah. See if we can. Oh, that was actually on the painting. Okay. Oh, it doesn't matter. It matters not. I don't have to save the digital file. I can always save it as a new one. Now, for some reason, this guy has a. I must have drawn a black line on. On this layer, on top of his head, and I don't want it to be there. So, okay, erase that. Now, I think he's meant to be wearing sunglasses. And he's got this sort of slightly weird mullet thing going on. I don't mind that. I think that's quite kind of funny. You can make out the backpack and his arms. Possibly this arm's a bit too thick. Let's see if we can, again, just sort of slightly imply slightly narrower armage. There we go. Mullets are probably archaeological. Probably. Yeah. So I think so far so good. This is my first ever art stream. Been going for an hour. Hardly felt it. Yeah, I think that's pretty good actually. Wonder if we can just do something to slightly sharpen up those glasses. Just a touch. Oh, excuse me. What I might just do is just mute the mic for a second. There we go. I had to belch, folks. I had to belch. Right. So let's see. We sampled that. Let's see if we can. Again, I don't want to do too much, but just a little bit of. Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good. Now, I'm not particularly happy with this stuff here. I remember when I did this, none of this was important to me because I already felt as though I'd mucked up the line work with the wet colour up here. And this might actually be why some of the shadow work is a bit rough up here, actually. Let's see if we can take a look at that. Oh, hang on. Oh, weird. We went all the way. What's it supposed to be? The foreground. I think it's meant to be sort of huge blocks of rubble, I think, sticking out of sand. The sand itself is very orangey red, very sort of red ochre. And then the blocks of rubble, I don't think they're distinct enough, because if you look at the blocks of the walls, they're actually quite yellow, especially when light is on them. I don't know if that means that what I should do is come in here and apply some of that yellow. Should we give it that? Should we experiment with that, actually? Thought they were coffins. Exactly. And I don't want to change that. I'm trying to sort of walk a line here with what I am changing in this image. So I don't think I want to change that it's just rubble. But maybe let's make another layer here. There we go. Bring the layer down to there. And can we... Oh, I'm still sampling. So I'll sample over here, maybe. Hey, Chamanar, thank you for the sub. I'm always impressed that folks continue wanting to sub to me, given how inconsistent I've been over the years. Right, so let's zoom in. Just here. Right, and then... Is that the right... And I'm still sampling. Oh, my goodness. Stop it. Actually, I'm going to go for the really light colour. There we go. Switch to the pen. To the brush, rather. Okay. Let's see how that can smudge. Smudge. Well, as you say, every now and then they add up to a nice sausage roll. And I'm thinking that his feet must be beyond the sort of the horizon of that rock. That's where he is. Although that is the wrong place for that shadow, so let me just get rid of that. There is such thing as a nice sausage roll. I'm yet to take Charminar there, but there's a wonderful sausage roll in a place called Blagdon Farm, just up the A19 from here, which is beautifully seasoned. Just a perfect, especially when it's fresh out of their bakery. Really, really good sausage roll. If they're standing in their boat, precisely, it's just not clear, not remotely clear where he is or what he's on. Never had any. Well, but it's a fair question. Yeah, it's a fair question. As with so many of these cuisines that turn up in pop culture references and films and jokes, especially jokes about British cuisine, you just think, oh yeah, spotted dick, sausage roll, offal, jellied eels, all that kind of thing. But no, you can get, but also you can also get terrible sausage rolls as well. So they're not unheard of at all. And I'd say that the Greg sausage roll, there's actually a Greg's documentary on Netflix, what goes into the sausage rolls. The Greg sausage roll is a good sort of, a good everydayer. It's not great. There's actually something about the oil that they use in Greg's, which is a national chain that started in the north of England, really. that Mrs. Soup really doesn't like. She has a big problem with the Greggs bakery smell. Quality sausage meat, quality pastry, you get a quality sausage roll. Exactly. And you can get terrible pastry, terrible sausage meat, and a terrible sausage roll. And the little party ones tend to be rubbish. Again, unless they're made by a canny bakery. Okay, let's see how that's working. Again, better than it was. Yeah, exactly, pink. They can have a funny aftertaste, and I think it's that oil again. It's how they reheat them once they've been delivered from the central factory. I think. Let's go over here. Do this side. There we go. I mean, one good thing about being the original artist on this painting is that I know roughly what shape I was thinking of with each of these jetting out pieces of rock, so I can sort of quickly go back in and add a bit of form, which is nice. Also, I didn't go for. I may still, depends if I get paid tomorrow by clients from December, but I didn't go for the Tiny Tina's Wonderland and Alan Wake 2. I got the Uncharted collection on Switch on Steam, so I might be streaming that this year. Noticed how some sausage seems sticky. I think some sausages will have it depends what the so things like, you know, some sausages will have filler, won't they? It's like almost an agent that's just there to bulk it. And I think some sausages use more sort of bready type filler, which I think can often result in a sort of dough-like glue texture to them, I think. Yeah, and it's also an easy win for the light coming off his torch. You can actually, by adding a bit of this yellow, you can actually get a sense of him lighting up the area, which is nice. Oh yes, yeah. Let's go down here, do this one. See, already I'm getting a sense of looking at the screen and not looking at where I'm putting, you know, I just have a sense of how big the work surface is, because the surface that I'm drawing on isn't a screen, it's just a touch pen pad, really, which I sort of prefer. I did try using a screen XP-PEN tablet a while ago, and I just found myself confused between the two screens. Effectively, it acts as a second screen. I just found it a bit uncomfortable, because moving a little bit here was moving far further on the screen, whereas here I know that, you know, that's top right, that's top left, so bottom left, bottom right. Oh my god, that's bottom left, and then that's top left, because it's the work zone that's been assigned within the rectangle on here. So it's much better. There we go. Yeah, I'm really pleased to see just how much. I think if I was to start a YouTube channel again now, I wouldn't do archaeology. I'd be making things. and those things would vary from, you know, some of it would be like Warhammer terrain, some of it would be paintings and drawings. I would just dive in with that, and maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to expand the Scribblebeard TikTok stuff and make a little YouTube channel where I just indulge making and all the stuff that I've made over the years, actually, in the way that I make things. And then I might be able to leave aspects of the toxic archaeological community behind. Wouldn't that be amazing? I think I lack the hand-eye coordination not to look at what I'm drawing. Yeah. I can see that. I can see why that's a bit can be a bit difficult. But again, in that sense, that's one of the reasons why I've needed to do this sort of practice stream, and hopefully at some point the guy who very kindly sent this stuff over will actually see the benefit of me practicing with this stuff in the videos, because I feel very aware that, like, I don't know, I'm sure he's not expecting anything of me really necessarily, other than to try and have a bit of fun. Hey, that's good. I like it. There we go. Right. Yeah, that's not too bad. We just want the top of that to just want the top of it. Do I want to make this a bit bigger? Probably do, actually. That's a bit better. It's funny, whenever my gran used to start talking about her ailments, my granddad would say, "Don't tell everyone, they'll want one." Oh, my hip. Obviously, she didn't sound like that. She was a Scouser, so she wasn't from there. It's funny how often my little old ladies come from the southeast of England. I think it must be years of BBC dramas in the back of my head. There we go. Especially considering I've never lived in the south of England. Yes, that's better. That is better. Better. It's an improvement. There we go. That's it. It's the Monty Python sketch, Old Lady Voice. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what it is, yeah. He's been a very naughty boy. Exactly, yeah. That's where it comes from. In that sense, it's kind of universal. Yeah, in British culture, then. Yeah, that's why I do it. Well done. Well perceived, that man. Yeah, spam, 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 spam. Yeah. Let's put a little bit here. Just a wee bit. There we go. again, yeah, you can just hear them, can't you, in your head? Yeah. That is it. Yeah, that's exactly it, I think. It's much better. Much better. All right. And I just want to come down to here and maybe just get rid of a little bit of this edge. Based on where he is and where the torch is in the scene. That's probably a bit more like it. Okay. So now I think I want to, because I introduced that shadow back there, I want to introduce this. You can see I've hinted at a sort of a vignette style going around the edge. Again, in that sort of very watery dark. Maybe I was trying to do this image towards the end of the course, and I just had to, you had to sort of work back from your final piece and sort of show your thinking and your working. Excuse me, slightly artificially, in fact. It does, doesn't it? It looks much better. I like it, actually. Again, I'll have to come back to don't stop smudging things. Come back to these guys. Maybe even in the next stream. I just don't feel quite up to tackling the sort of the slightly lighter version of these guys, because I like the way that these faces have come together. Although this one, actually, if we just go, oh no. Coming on that face, I just want to just maybe slightly fix that. That's it. The bad thing about the pad is the inability to name your tabs as you're going, because it's right in front of and above the keyboard. I don't know. Can I sort of? Oh, no. Undo. There we go. So yes, what I've done with this tablet is that I've set the she did, didn't she? Yes, I remember that. I've set the programmable buttons to be open, so open a new file, save, new oh, I forgot there's a new layer button. New layer, zoom in, zoom out, and then redo and undo, respectively, which I'm quite pleased with that. So yeah, I did a whole new layer button. I didn't have to be going up there to do the new layers all the time. And it zooms out and in based on where your pen is hovering, which is quite nice. So that's hence you have a bit more control over where you're actually zooming, as you would with the mouse in that sense. Right, I'm going to grab this colour, methinks, and introduce it around the edge for that vignette effect. However, let's see, do we want to... Those layers. That one, I don't think does anything, that layer. I think that one is actually empty. So we're going to bring that one down. Make the brush truly massive. And be bold, I guess. Be bold. Be brave. I'm using GIMP. I really like it. As I've used it for as long as I've been doing Arceus really, with my mouse. So this is controlling with the mouse versus controlling with the pen. And you'll notice that something subtle happens on the board. Actually, it does say, for example, the last color that my mouse was using was that color, whereas if I approach the touch board with my pen hovering above it, it changes. So it remembers which input you're using. But I've been using GIMP for years now, and it's really good. I find it really, it's open source, so it's great thing is it's free. You don't have to buy a license, and it's essentially got very similar benefits to which Photoshop has. Yeah, it used to be subpar, but for a good few years now, if not half a decade, it's been very, very useful for my purposes. And I say the fact that it also accepts pressure inputs in GIMP is very good. The only thing is exporting vectors. It can't do vectors. It works in I forgot what they called now. Is it raster? But I'm going to have to. There's also an open source vector imaging platform, which I might have to experiment with that, especially for future logo work and this kind of thing. But you know, in that sense, GIMP has served me very well over the years, and at some point when I have some spare cash, I shall donate to them, just to reflect that, because they deserve it, the work that they do. All right, so let's see if we can make more sense of these shadows, shall we? There we go. And I'm choosing the shadow value that's at the darkest part of the tomb back there. Let's see if we can sort of take the shadow across the top. There we go. And shall we turn down that opacity? Oh, look at that. That's tying it together so much better. And maybe it's also because I understand a bit more now about color theory. As much as I was doing art every day in high school, as a teenager, I wasn't, I was having to do other things, maths, English, science. So I didn't really fully apply myself to that thing of, establishing a range of colors. So in this instance, the color palette, the darkest shade we've established back there. And so having that shadow not just be black around the edge, much better. Inkscape, that's the one. That's the one I was thinking of. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so Inkscape for those purposes. But also, I do appreciate the way that GIMP works. It's clearly I've adapted my thinking to how GIMP wants you to think, but it's not a million miles away from other image manipulation programs. There we go. That's so much better. So much better. And now I can sort of blend it in a little bit with the shadows that are in the rest of the image. There we go. Much better. Critter. Oh, okay. I have to make a note of that. Oh, my phone is not on airplane mode. Sorry if you've been getting any signal through the mic there. So, Inkscape Critter. All right. Thank you. Cool. Diolch yn fawr. So I think over here could use a bit more, although I'm blurring now. There we go. There we go. I use Critter. It's overcomplicated for me anyway. Too many options. Okay. But one of the great things about all this software is that YouTube is an amazing resource for tutorials, isn't it? The number of times I've used tutorials for GIMP actually for skills that I really probably should remember how to do by now, but ultimately, because the tutorial's there, it's really useful just to go back and remember how the layer mask trick can work for blending layers and this kind of thing. All right, there we go. So this, yeah, this dark bit here, then we're going to have to add, because I put shadow so harshly there, and it's quite bright here. I guess we're going to have to bring all of this side down a little bit, aren't we? Okay. So the use case is important in that sense. You have Coral Draw 2.0 on 3.5 inch floppies, I presume. That's impressive. I've got a couple of floppy disks in the office, but they are for nostalgic purposes. So I have a floppy disk of Psycho Pinball, my favourite pinball game, which I've never actually played on PC. I played it on the Mega Drive back in day. Okay, I'm going to have to bring all of this down just a touch, aren't I? But that's okay, I'll just sort of bring it slightly back up again with the smudging. There we go. DOS 3.1, nice. Reminds me of there's a photo of a NASA mathematician next to the essentially the handwritten software that she wrote that enabled people to land on the moon. And it's like it's taller than her and falling over in the photo, which is quite cool. Let's take that away. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, it's just better. It's just better. Now what I probably need to do is just blend this a little bit more on this side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow this side to stay unreasonably bright. It's almost like, because I guess his torch is on that side of him, so it's you know, it should be casting light over here, but I can't make sense of this weird shadow thing I did on the pillar back then. So I'm gonna have to make some concessions to artistic license is what we'll call it. Artistic license. There we go. And then really up here needs to be a bit more of a gradient across. So from there, although it would be nice to get just a touch more. No. So let's go for a gradient up to here and sort of make the light beam be quite a contrast, I think. And what I might do is go down to the original painting layer and just add a bit. Oh, bit too much. There we go. Just sort of dot it along. There we go. That's what you need. This has been far more successful than I thought it was going to be, you know. And actually, what I can do now on that bottom layer is actually smudge down some of these harsh shadows a bit, so they become a bit more of the just sort of do the same down here, so it kind of visually makes a bit more sense. again, seeing as I've got those real harsh blacks top and bottom of this pillar, it kind of has to be this way. But yeah, it's all right. Cool. So let's just take away that layer again. Yeah, it's definitely better. Assassin's Creed fan art. Origins fan art. No. Oh man, my tiny mind couldn't have even begun to imagine that as a computer game when I drew this. Just wondering if there's anything that I'm obviously missing. No, I think we're okay. I think what I might do is just try and soften up some of this stuff here. There we go. And then maybe just go to the original and just try and blur that line. It's a very harsh shadow line I had at the back of this rock, which is just a bit too much. There we go. Oh no, I see. No, that one has to be like that, but there we go. Yeah, definitely an improvement. Okay, let's take a look at these guys down the bottom, shall we? Is there anything that we can do with them? We can see the original pencil outlines a little bit there, so let's see if we can get rid of them a touch. Introduce a little bit of just a little bit more in the way of sort of implied anatomy, maybe here and there would be good. And what layer am I working on? Oh, okay, that's fine. I'm working on the actual paint layer, so that means I can draw underneath the fog now, underneath the shadow. And actually what I might do is just sample that and put in there we go. Go back for dark color. Didn't even see the figures. No, well, exactly. In that sense, I like the fact that they're relatively, you have to look for them, and then they sort of imply story after you see them. But I think it'd just be nice just to have a bit more sort of anatomy going on. There we go. Yes, yeah. So this is a painting that I did in high school. So age 15, 16, GCSE exams, which is just below kind of end of school level. So A level would be sort of early college, end of high school sort of level. Not really sure if there are equivalents, or what the equivalents would be in the US. So yeah, it's a painting that I did in support of a sculptural piece that I did as the final for this particular module. And the paintings were this painting was kind of, in that sense, it was a concept drawing for that. So in that, yeah, I guess the oh no, 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 we don't want to do that. I guess the Assassin's Creed concept art notion works for that. Just there we go. Let's just take a step back. Pharaoh Cthulhu head. That could be fun. That could be fun. So yeah. So let's attach those two layers together. Can we just with the mouse just merge those down? Merge down. There we go. So now, yeah, it's just so much more effective. And if I merge down the rock highlights as well, yeah. I'm quite pleased with that, actually. Do you know Blender? That's something else that I've been meaning to get on and practice with for years now. I really ought to do it. Just so much I ought to just ought to be doing. But oh no. But maybe that's the wrong way of thinking about it. Stuff I can be doing, not that I ought to be doing. Exciting opportunities. I think what I might do is just go in over there and maybe just blend back a little bit of that shadow. Can we make the size of the brush much bigger? There we go. I quite like that red. Peanut butter is your favorite medium. It's definitely a delicious medium. There we go. I think it's pretty good, actually. Yeah, I like that because it sort of draws the eye up, and it means you're not losing too much of that detail back there. Also, I suppose what I could do is just very quickly just do like a... Oh, why is that gap there? No good reason for that gap. Fill in those areas there a little bit. Just soften some of those edges. There we go. Yeah. I think beginning and end. So that's how we started out. This is where we're up to. I'm happy with that. Maybe this here now on another viewing could be toned down just a little bit on his arm. And then actually that needs to be shadow back there. So let's there we go. But can we make that even darker? Yeah, I think it's a bit better. Yeah, it's a very bright bicep, but I need to come in and do the arm and then figure out what's happening with this arm here as well. But I think as a first ever art live stream, experimenting with this input method, that is a big improvement. And initially it's the kind of thing that looks a bit, oh no, you've just made it all murky, but actually it's tying the murk together, tying the shadow values together in a way that just makes more sense, and draws the eye to the guy holding the torch, and then off to the back of the room. Much better, much better. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. It has been fun. It's just gone midnight and I have a busy day ahead, but yeah, thanks for joining me. Exactly, it's supposed to be dusty and atmospheric, and yeah, I dig it. Me likes. Right, guys, you take it. Oh, Beckman, I'm going. You can't turn up now. It's always a pleasure, Charles Babbage's Ghost. It's always a pleasure. I shall be streaming again soon. As I mentioned earlier, I dived in and got hold of the Uncharted collection, the Thief's Legacy collection. So yeah, we'll definitely be streaming that this year as well. Yes, bonne nuit. Noswaith da. No, well, nos da. I see all you guys, no doubt, momentarily on the Discord server. Until then, though, until next time, do take care.